observe that, and I thought, and I took it upon myself to reach out to those who were opposing the election and led by the Honorable Raila Odinga, and I said, we need to engage, because at the end of the day, we are both citizens of this republic. Whatever our personal feelings or views or those of our supporters may be, we have a responsibility as leaders to ensure that this country does not find itself in a similar situation. And as I have said severally, again, people forget that it was a very difficult time. I mean, he wasn't willing. I was also very cagey because of the situation, the way it was. But at the end of the day, we were able to talk. And through those discussions, we were able actually to get to some underlying issues that have plagued this country for a long time. And it was then we said that, if only people could learn to sit down and talk the way we are talking, a lot of these problems wouldn't happen. And it was there that, and I really appreciated this fact, because for the first time we said, let's not even talk about government. Let's not even talk about who's in government, who's not in government. Let us talk about these underlying factors. Let us actually come together and say, how can we deal with these issues to ensure that going forward, Kenya will never find itself ever again in this kind of a situation. And we started discussing those underlying factors. And that is what led to what we called our 9-point issues that we ourselves thought, that led to the handshake. And that led to say, we will work together on these fundamental issues that we share as Kenyans, as two Kenyan leaders. And we decided then, let us expand this. Because, after all, there are also other leaders. And that's why we also brought others on board, including some of those, unfortunately, who, for short-term political reasons, are opposed to this particular process, were brought on board. And we said, let us discuss these issues. Why do we consistently have this issue? And one of the issues we figured out that is still very pertinent even to me was the fact that people feel that if one side wins, another side loses. So we felt we've got to come up with a situation where nobody loses. And what does that mean? It means two primary issues: equity and inclusivity. And how can we handle these? But we also said, let us go out also into the country and hear. There are probably other issues. Young people was another issue, because there is growing frustration also about, in and amongst our young people. How do we also bring them on board, cater for their... Let's get their opinions. Let's hear what they have to say. And that actually was the foundation of what today we call BBI. A process that was meant to be inclusive, that was inclusive. I've actually never seen a more inclusive process, save for the process, again led by Raila Odinga and the Honorable Moi Kibaki, former president, that led to the Constitution of 2021. That sought to put all these issues across, and then said, if we rectified these issues, we would then be in a position to say, okay, let's go for an election and have the best of hope that what we have seen in the past, starting all the way from when we started multi-party politics and the violence that we see in elections, the divisions that we see in the country, the ethnic animosity that we see in the country, that if we started dealing with some of these issues, maybe some of this thing would dissipate. That was what BBI was supposed to represent. And it is most unfortunate, like I keep saying, that people have forgotten why we were looking at this, and for short-term political gain have decided to deny Kenyans of what is legitimately in their interest. Because let me ask, one of the things that we used to talk about and we used to say,